friend up from the airport, and I couldn't even turn the steering wheel because I'm like, and my friend was looking at me, rolling her eyes. She goes, "Can I please put some oils on you?" And I said, "Go ahead." And she did, and within 5 minutes I had absolutely no pain. I said, "Okay, that was freaky." So from then on, I got a hold of the oils, and I've been in love with them ever since. I use them every day, and I can't imagine my life without them. I'm here to present actually the Slim and Sassy product that we have, and this actually is a weight loss accelerator. It detoxifies your body, and it helps to increase your metabolism, and it also helps to control appetite and control cravings as well. And without further ado, I am going to need timekeepers. So when I get like 10 minutes close to the end, I want everybody to just go to keep me. So I'm trying to keep it within 30 minutes, okay? Because I don't want to keep you here too long. Okay, we're not too bad, not too bad. I may or may not have sound, but if you don't, I don't. Well, these people, last year, they have a Slim and Sassy contest with the company every year. These two people lost about 60 pounds apiece using the Slim and Sassy. This girl here, she's a mother of, I don't know how many children she has, but she only used the products and didn't do any lifestyle changes. She just did the products. She won the contest. He did total lifestyle changes, total exercise, and he went crazy nuts, and he also won the contest. These two did great job with and they got a bunch of prizes and money and stuff. So, so there we are, and this is a company, doTERRA. doTERRA means gift of the earth, and of course, this is where they get the oils from. It's from the earth, from our plants.
I hear something.
Yeah, a little something from my computer. Mostly, they're not really saying anything. It's mostly just music.
Why don't you tell them how the Slim and Sassy works, or you're going to do that?
That's part of the presentation.
Okay.
Yep, I'm getting to that. So, all right. So, let's see. From the beginning, New Year, New You. Okay. New Year, New You. Yes, this is what it's about for this presentation. Okay, the highest rate of obesity in the world is in our country. Over 2/3 of adults in the United States are overweight, and over 1/3 are obese. And in 1980, nearly 6.5% of children aged 6 to 11 were obese, and by 2008, this number grew by 9 to 19.8%. That's a big concern. I believe a lot of it is like, I mean, I grew up eating, meat and everything, and we had a crazy diet, but I think they pump the meats and stuff with a lot of hormones, and that doesn't help. That does not help the situation any. And of course, with more computer, a lot of people are more sedentary too. Okay, there are obesity risk factors. Like 80% of type 2 diabetes is related to obesity. 70% of cardiovascular disease is related to obesity, and 42% of breast and colon cancer diagnosed among obese individuals as well. So you can tell that there's certainly a lot of risks that come with being overweight and even grossly overweight. Okay, a culture of discrimination, of course, in our country. It's sad. It doesn't matter the color of your skin, the size of your body, how tall, how short you are. There's always some kind of discrimination, or whether you're male or female. And after viewing videotaped job interviews of several applicants equally qualified, people rated obese applicants to be less qualified or likely to be hired, or more likely to fake an illness and have poor work habits, more likely to have emotional problems or trouble with a coworker. I don't believe these things are true, but these are perceptions that people have about people who are obese or overweight. And that's just what people think, just like they think, about color of skin, any kind of discriminations that go on. Okay, the culprit is fat. Now we need fat. Some of us need a little more of it, some of us need a little less. But fat is good for us. It's great for a cushion, it's great for insulation, and it's great for energy too. But what happens when we have too much of it? Okay, and the storing and releasing of calories, okay? Extra calories come in, and we have then we have more fat that's stored. And if we have fewer calories that come in and we exercise, then calories are released. That's part of the cycle with fat. Oh, I was going to do a demonstration, excuse me. Pass out. Okay, so this is going to be our little fat cell. And I want somebody to hide this on them. And I want somebody else to hide this on them. And we're going to see what happens. So we can always increase the number of our fat cells, but once we have them, they're there for life. But we can shrink them down. And so, okay, let's find the shrunken, who hid the shrunken, okay, did you hide it? Can we find it? And who has our fat cell? Oh yeah, it's hard to hide those fat cells, but I'll tell you what we can do with this fat cell. You can have that green one, isn't that nice? What did we do with
Mary Beth,
those?
that's your prize for tonight.
Yeah.
Okay.
She gets a balloon for a present. I'm looking for the slim and sassy here. Okay, static. That's scared me too. Okay. So basically, you see how fast that happened. Okay, these oils are the most potent, most pure on the planet. So Slim and Sassy just busted up that fat cell.
Did you put a drop on it?
Yeah.
Oh.
That happened right away, didn't it? Woo! So the more, the Slim and Sassy weight products, plus a healthy lifestyle change, and it means you have less fat, or you can start shrinking those things. These are the product lines that we have with it. We have the Slim and Sassy drops, which is using just the essential oils. They put the essential oils actually inside a trim shake too that people can use as a meal replacement. And they also have here the Lifelong Vitality Pack, which packs your food nutrient complex, your vitamins, your minerals, and your fish oils too. They actually have a vegetarian, because I keep asking, a lot of my circle were vegan, vegetarian, and I asked the owners, Emily Wright, I asked her, I said, can you please come up with a vegetarian version? And she said, we have one formulated, we're just waiting for the demand. So everybody just start demanding it. Because this one right here, this actually increases the mitochondria in your cell. And the mitochondria in your cells are actually the workhouse. They're the engines. There's what gives us energy. And as we age, those energy cells just the mitochondria start to deplete out of our cells. This actually increases the mitochondria, and it's guaranteed, or your money back, to get your energy up. Okay, Slim and Sassy Metabolic Blend. It has several different, it has peppermint, lemon, cinnamon, grapefruit, and there was one other one inside there, and I don't remember what it is, but all these things work together, and they help to manage your appetite, lift your mood during dieting. I know whenever I smell lemon, I'm just not happy already. Supports healthy metabolism of fat and energy production. They help you feel a little more energetic. Supports a healthy insulin response, and also supports management of healthy lifestyle choices. One thing that I have found, and I've heard a lot with people that are using the Slim and Sassy, is their cravings are under control, that they can actually walk by the dessert table and go, I don't really need it, and keep going. And they feel, I'm finding that with a lot of people that are using it. So we have fewer new fat cells, because it helps to keep those under control, and it deflates the current fat cells. You notice it doesn't say that it gets rid of them, because once we have them for life. But we can certainly deflate them, and it's easy to hide when they're deflated, aren't they? All right, they detoxify the system. Of course, our fat cells are really good at holding toxins in. Now, we can get toxins in from the air. We can get them from things that we eat, chemicals. They can get inside, and it stores them. So what this does is it actually helps to detoxify, helps to suck all that toxin and stuff out, which is another demonstration I wanted to do with this Slim and Sassy too. I don't even know where it went. Did you look for the Slim and Sassy drops? I just wanted to put a couple in here. There it is. This is a styrofoam cup. You're going to notice that we do not put these oils in plastic containers. We only put them in glass because it actually does detoxify. So it's going to detoxify. So you don't want to put it in plastic, because it's going to take the toxins that are in the plastic and put them out. Okay, for this one, 5 drops 5 times a day is the easiest way to do it. You can either do it under your tongue, you can put it inside a glass of water, you can put it, if you don't like the flavor of it, you can put it inside a capsule and take that 5 times a day. The The trim shake is less than 200 calories, it's 16 grams of protein, low fat, low glycemic load, high fiber, beneficial, all of this. Now, there's one thing that the trim shake has, it's called the ashwagandha plant. The ashwagandha extract, it helps to control the cortisol levels, which is the accumulation of the fat around the stomach, hips, and thighs. It helps to reduce stress, and anytime we do any kind of change in our life, whether it be through diet or whether it be through any kind of major changes, that we're stressed and then we start to get grumpy, and this kind of helps you through that. Increased cellular energy production supplies the energy that you have, and of course when we try anything new, whether it's exercise or diet or some kind of change, that we feel sapped of our energy, and this kind of helps you through it too. Lifelong Vitality Pack, I talked about that already, supports cellular energy production for increased activity, and there's no caffeine or any stimulants inside there at all. Provides the essential nutrients during calorie restriction, so if you're starting to cut back on things that you eat, or if you're doing a meal replacement, that you would actually, it provides everything that your body needs and supports a healthy insulin response. Wellness Lifestyle Pyramid. Of course, we're going to put Slim and Sassy Metabolic Blend on the bottom of this. Make sure you eat right, exercise, rest, manage your stress, reduce your toxic load, informed self-care, and proactive medical care. Of course, we're in charge of our health. We're in charge of what goes on with us. That we can't, this works. It works and it's great, but we can't still go back to, we can't keep eating, the things that we eat that we know are poor for our bodies. And we do need to make sure that we are exercising, that we're not just sitting down, and getting enough rest. We need to make good choices. So which is easier, to eat less or exercise more?
Exercise more.
I'm thinking eat less. But yeah. So it depends on what you want to do. If you want to eat your 2 cookies, if you want to go walking 90 minutes or cycling 40 minutes or running 30 minutes, or if you just want to forego the cookies. You still need to do the exercise anyway. But all right, so Slim and Sassy meal plan. So basically, this is a great rule of thumb or rule of hand. You get, the size of your hand here, and it says you talk about your high water content foods, fresh fruits and vegetables. These mostly you won't want to cook them because that kind of shrinks them down and it just kind of gets rid of all the good stuff. But raw fruits and veggies is the biggest part. You close your fist and then you come up with your legumes and your grains and your starchy fruits and vegetables. And then just in the palm of your hand, things like nuts and lean proteins, which they have, as meat products or tofu or any of those things along those lines. And then rule of thumb is any kind of dressings or additives, you want to make sure that it's just a little bit. A little bit goes a long way. Can you imagine your dessert being that big? That's not good either. Okay, fat loss accelerators. Eat whole foods and not juices. So instead of having an orange juice, it'd be good just to eat the orange because you get more out of it that way. Because there's a lot of sugar content, and actually with fruit juices we can actually even gain weight that way, and there's a lot of sugar in those. Only drink water. Water is actually absolutely the best thing. I believe everybody in here would agree with me on that. Water is the best thing. Juice is not evil. It's okay to have once in a while. Avoid simple and processed carbs. Anything that is like white flours and things like that, those break down really quickly into simple sugars, and your insulin levels go way high and way low, and you kind of go up and down real quick. And avoid alcohol and and sodas, things like that. Fat loss accelerators. This is partially where I disagree with pretty much America, where they believe 5 meals, little tiny meals throughout the day. I believe 2 good meals a day is actually the best practice. Third meal, if you're actually very, 4 to 5 hours in between. 5 to 6 hours actually in between your meals is actually better for your body, because then your pancreas isn't overloaded and overworked. But they say graze and don't feast, but I feast 2 times a day, but actually just up to 3 cups of food. And then hydrate, lots and lots of water. Aerobic exercise, strength training, and flexibility. You got to make sure that we're working on all of these every day. Here you can see there. See how happy they are. They're exercising. And don't do it alone. Join us, Slim and Sassy. There's actually a program on there that's iamslimandsassy.com where you can get on, and there's other people that are logging in. I lost this much this week, and it's kind of like a support group online for this lifestyle change. And for January 21st, how am I doing on time?
You're good.
Okay, excellent. Now, with this one, see, yeah, these are the grand prize winners for this test year. Information and registration. Join iamslimandsassy.com, and they're also on Facebook too. Now with these oils, like Lindy was saying, that these oils, they're actually the most pure, the most potent on the planet. Purity, which is more important, the purity of an oil or the potency of an oil? If anybody could guess. Actually, they're both just as equal, but yeah. It matters where the plant is grown. You can't just grow them in a hothouse somewhere because they have to be indigenous. It matters the soil, it matters the climate, it matters where on the planet these plants are grown because that's where they get the most potent chemical constituents in order to get what you need out of the plant. Purity. Now there is an industry standard for essential oils to say, to put on their label, I am a 100% pure essential oil. Well, doTERRA takes that standard and they pass it 7 more layers. They test for things that other companies do not test for. They test for pesticides, herbicides, fillers, alcohols. They test for weeds. They test for anything that is not the oil. The industry standard to run their tests for the gas chromatography and the mass spectrometry, they take 30 minutes to run the test. doTERRA runs theirs for 140 minutes, which when you're looking on a noise scale, I mean, it might sound all great to you and somebody might be like, yeah, I got it. I don't know. But for the noise scale, they have a graph that if there's an impurity, you know, it's going to be like this and all of a sudden there's going to be an impurity, that perfume chemist is going to be able to tell what that impurity is. And they'll say, nope, not a pure oil. They've searched long and hard to find oils that meet their standard. There are some oils that they don't carry, and there are people that come to me, well, do you carry this oil? And I'm like, no, we don't. And they say, well, then I don't want to have anything to do with your oils. Well, the reason why we don't carry that oil is because you can't find enough product. Like for the Melissa oil, for instance, it takes 3 tons of plant material to make 1 pound of Melissa oil. And that 1 pound of Melissa oil costs, what was it, $5,000, $15,000 for that 1 pound of Melissa oil. So that kind of gives you an explanation as to why some of the oils are more expensive than the others. Some of them are a little bit better. The rose oil, for instance, they don't carry the rose oil where you can buy it because they can't find somebody that meets their standard. Enough of it in order to be able to sell it and market it. It takes 1 drop of oil to service every cell in your body. Pretty amazing. Okay, now here's a cell. Bacteria comes along and attaches itself to the cell, okay? When we go to the doctor and we're sick, and we say, I'm sick, he says, you have a bacterial infection, I'm going to give you an antibiotic. Right, okay. You come in with a virus, and you go, I'm sick, and the doctor says, antibiotic. Or, nothing I can do for you. Go home, get plenty of rest. Drink lots of water. If you don't feel good in a couple weeks, call me back. The reason why is because the viruses actually live on the insides of the cells, and there's nothing that we have that's synthetic that can be made as a chemical that can actually pass through that barrier on the cell, through this to that semi-permeable membrane. My brain is going fast because I want to go quick. But there's nothing that we have in the market as far as chemicals and pharmaceuticals that can pass that barrier to help to attack that virus. What the oils do, they're actually very small and they're very natural and our bodies recognize them and those receptor sites go, oh, come on in. And then it gets rid of that cell, that virus. Not only that, it actually, viruses and bacteria in our cells, they have this thing called quorum sensing. And that quorum sensing is what gives the ability of these cells to talk to each other, to change from bug to superbug. What this oil does, it actually interferes with that communication and it stops them up to 90%, stops that communication between the cells. And it says, and then it totally, not only that, it totally annihilates them. The On Guard blend that we have actually kills MRSA, the staph infection. They have found, they treated an area, they took a 32-ounce spray bottle with all just tap water, put 4 drops of the On Guard inside that bottle, treated the area, let it dry, put on the MRSA, let it dry. The next day she went back to check on it, it was all dead. She went back 7 days later and it was still dead. So she's actually continuing her studies this year because she's a microbiologist that works in hospital system up in Illinois, and she's continuing her studies, and they're independent studies. She's not being paid by the company. There's the oregano also. There's another biologist that was doing her thesis on oregano, on essential oils. She tried the oregano against her biggest, baddest antibiotics, 18 of them, and it totally wiped them all out. You know, we have the Petri dishes. We take the flu virus or whatever bacteria and we treat an area, okay? We get the alcohol pad, or the little pad, we treat it with our treatment device, and then we put it in the middle of there, and then we check it out later and find out how big that little area is where it was able to kill that bacteria or virus that's in there. In this case, it was the flu virus. And you can find, it's called the zone of inhibition. She did that test, put it in the auger, and there was other tests she was running, and then she went back the next, I don't know if it was the next day or later, and everything in that dish was killed completely, and she took all the rest of the dishes out, and it killed everything that was in all the rest of the dishes too. So she was like, okay, I have to water this down in order to find out how well it works. I mean, you can tell it killed everything, but how effective is it? So she watered it down 5,000 times. So about the shot size of a shoebox, and put 1 drop of the oregano in there, took 1 drop out of that, did it again, totally killed everything again. So basically, oregano is effective. It works. The oils are effective. They work. They're great. Another thing I want you guys to do is, I'm going to give everybody, if you would just take 1 drop, put it in the middle of your hand, and then I want you to rub your hands together, and then hold your hands low. Don't go over your eyes because it's actually pretty potent. And just give yourself a diffuser. Yes, and just 1 drop of peppermint oil is actually the same as 28 cups of peppermint tea. So the oils themselves are actually more potent, 50 to 70 times more potent than the herb itself. If there are any questions, how am I doing on time?
You're doing well, but I know that there's going to be questions.
Okay,
So
I'm done yakking.
let's look. Well, is there anything more you want to tell about?
I think that was the main thing, yeah.
One of the Slim and Sassy, while you're here for this presentation, I've started using it about 3 weeks ago and lost. What I do is get out of the shower while I'm still damp and rub the Slim and Sassy on the areas I want to lose weight. I've not worn these slacks in many years. My sister, I want to have Sandy come up.
Thank you for coming, Sandy.
My pants. I live in Kingsport, Tennessee, and Sharon gave me the Slim and Sassy around Christmas time. Okay, it's not going to work. I've tried everything. I had breast cancer 11 years ago, and they put me on tamoxifen. If any of you nurses know that awful tamoxifen, or the Romacin. And at one point, I was gaining 6 pounds a month. And I was depressed. I was angry at my boss. I wanted a divorce. And I finally went into the doctor and I said, either you take me off this stuff, or you take me out into the parking lot and shoot me, because I am not taking this stuff anymore. He said I needed to take it, and I threw the pills away, and I have not had it now for 6 years. But I was gaining weight, and I have gained weight constantly, have not been able to take it off. And so Sharon gave this to me, and she said, rub it on wherever you want to lose weight. And I said, I need a bathtub full because I just want to take a bath. And she says, well, just rub it on. And so I had it in the shower, and I would put it on. And because I had reconstruction, I have no feeling in my torso. All my nerve endings have been cut. And so it's cold when you touch it, and I could feel it cold on my hand, but when I put it on my stomach or my thigh, I couldn't feel it. And so I thought, well, it's not working. And I was afraid to weigh myself. I knew what I had weighed before, but I thought, it's not working. So then finally I thought, well, you know, I'm going to use a lot of this in the bottle. What I'll do is I'll just start taking it. It's very potent. I didn't like the taste, but I started taking 8 drops a day. I take 4 in the morning and 4 in the evening. I didn't know about the 25 or 5 times. Yeah,
5 times a day.
didn't know that. I've just been doing 8. And so I was putting on my clothes. Normally my jeans lay on the bed, get a zipper, And so I put on my jeans and I was like, man, I can't believe I'm kind of pulling my pants up a little bit. So I thought, well, I'm gonna get on the scales. So last week, I got on the scales. Now I've been on this now for 5 weeks, probably 4 weeks taking it internally, a couple weeks with the rub. And I got on the scales and I went, what? Okay, and I lost 16 pounds.
Amen.
Well, since now that I have been weighing myself every day, I've lost a pound a day. I'm up to 21 pounds.
Yeah.
And I'm telling everyone, you know, I can't believe it. And they go, yeah, right. And I said, hey, been there, done that. I know. It's too good to be true. But I've lost 21 pounds. And these are my pants, which I lost this. I lost this. My husband said, you know, and it's waving now. I can feel the air coming through. I was like, whoa. But I mean, this, you know, I'm going to have to go buy new clothes. But, you know, I don't want to buy now because I'll just go to Goodwill, get some clothes in the meantime until I get down to my weight. But this stuff is a miracle. And, you know.
And it's good for you.
And it's good. And it's helped my energy. And, I mean, everyone has noticed that how excited I am and how much energy I have. So you guys have got to try it because you're not going to believe it.
One of the benefits too, if you're on menopause, when you spread it on the areas that you want to lose weight, you feel like a peppermint patty. You go,
Oh, you're really good. It's very tingling.
it is fun.
The reason why the oils work when you rub them on your skin versus taking them internally is that the oils are actually lipophilic, so they actually get absorbed very quickly into the system. So rubbing them on your skin is great. Actually, the pores in the bottom of your feet are the largest, so most of the time we're rubbing the oils on the bottoms of our feet. Who in here does massage or is like, okay, so you all know about that stuff. Now there is actually a technique that is unique to doTERRA. It's called Aroma Touch, and pretty soon I'm going to be certified to instruct on this Aroma Touch technique too, which you're going to love it. It's awesome. We use about 10 different oils, and it's great. It's awesome. It's awesome. And it's fantastic. Are there any questions? Yes?
You may have said this, but why does it destroy the bacteria and virus, but it doesn't destroy the cell?
Because our cells, because it's natural. The plants are natural. Like when we're talking about in Genesis, you know, like after the fall, you know, the Lord added herbs to our diet for the healing of the nations. I'll give you an example. Okay, when a baby is born and a mother nurses the baby, okay, there is a certain communication that goes on between the baby and the mother through the breast tissue. Okay, when the baby comes in contact with a pathogen that's communicated to the mother actually creates an antibody for the baby, and then the baby is saved that way. Same thing with plants. Now, when a plant comes in contact with a pathogen, what that plant is able to do is to create a barrier. It changes its chemical constituents through the oils, and it's actually able to protect itself. So that's why we use those plants. Our bodies recognize those things. We are designed this way. We are made this way. Our plants, our foods, everything is designed for our bodies from the designer himself. So that's why when there's a virus or a bacteria, that those are recognized as enemies. And it's actually able to recognize it, point them out, and it's able to help the cells but destroy the bad ones. It's just amazing. I mean, sometimes it just goes beyond me. You know, I mean, there's like a whole class just on that. But it works. It works.
And anciently, this is what they used. Before pharmaceuticals even came into play, you know, what did they bring Jesus?
Yeah, it's right.
Gold, frankincense, and myrrh.
Which I have
Frankincense is
frankincense
one of the most healing of the oils, and it's not a coincidence that the pharaohs, when they died, they had them put their oils in with their gold and jewels right in their burial, whatever, what do they call them, pyramids or whatever. When they go in there, you know, they find the pots where the essential oils were. These were revered. Everyone wanted them because they work, but they can't make money out of these. because they can't be patented, the pharmaceutical companies, so that they have to make the synthetic, so we pay a lot of money to them and they get rich, when in reality, God gave us the things to heal our bodies.
And with that too is the ancient tomb raiders, you know, how people would go into the tombs and they would steal things, they would take the oils and leave the gold
Right.
because they knew how valuable that the oils were.
Young Living has this oil called Thieves, and apparently it saved people from the plague. And do you guys have like the equivalent of that?
We have, actually 3 of our executives came from Young Living. And we have, like, one of our blends is called On Guard. Now, On Guard is actually one of the most potent killers, I guess you could say, that are out there. And it is crazy effective. And of course, the oregano is crazy effective too.
Do you guys have something that pulls vaccinations out of the body?
That's
Because I've read that vaccines are
They
terrible.
do have, I think on one of the sites that we have, that question came up, and I don't know it by heart, but they gave a recommendation of which essential oils to take in order to nullify the effect of the vaccine.
the side effects.
Right, well, those who didn't want to be vaccinated wanted to nullify and draw the poisons back out.
That's a good question. I
Right.
want to contact with
Well,
that.
one thing with On Guard, my father, maybe you heard that he just passed away last week, but he, after his fall, he was sitting quite a bit and wasn't able to move. And we thought he was coming down from pneumonia. I took the diffuser, put 4 drops of On Guard and set it beside him, and it just cleared his lungs right up, and he never had the pneumonia.
What does it do to the cup?
I don't know if you can see that. You have to pass it around. So basically, this is why, I'll pass it around. This is why you don't want to put it in styrofoam. Thank you for.
One of the questions everybody asks is, you know, because most people who are here at my request have heard all my stories already, but I'm so hyped because of what it's done for my family, just in treating them with congestive colds and stuff. What do you do? They say, how do you apply it? And I always give them the 5 ways. Well, I have all kinds of ways.
The 3 major ways is through diffusing it through the air, and of course we breathe it into our lungs, and of course it communicates with our brain through the limbic system, which is that cribriform plate that's just right through here. And it actually changes our response to the environment. And actually they're diffusing these in the emergency department at Vanderbilt. I'm an ER nurse. I wish I had this. They found that their stress and frustration level went down from 40 to 60% down to 4%. To me, that's majorly significant. I would love to have had, in my years of nursing, a diffuser right here, because it is a very stressful job. And you know, and we carry stress with us every day. All of us do, because we're all affected in different ways. And they actually find it very effective. Another way to do it is actually rubbing it on your skin, putting it on the bottoms of your feet, and it actually gets absorbed through the skin in 20 seconds, and it's within your bloodstream. Another way is actually taking them internally. These are the only oils that I would actually feel confident taking internally because of their level of purity and potency.
There's a couple that cannot be taken in. There's several.
Eucalyptus is one, and there's a list that says which ones, but most of them you can.
Linda mentioned that you can treat migraines with one of the oils. How do you treat migraines?
My sister had a migraine, and actually she's very sensitive to strong smells, and so she was actually kind of afraid to come in contact with these because they actually trigger seizures on her. But I gave her lavender,